And last, but certainly not least, for me, the neutrals game of the weekend. I'd say Aston Villa Arsenal is going to be just as good a game, but I think if you're neutral and you got asked to choose one game to go and watch, it'd probably be Tottenham versus West Ham. Tottenham versus West Ham. All you need to do is go on Google or YouTube, type in that fixture, watch the highlights of a full game, and then you'll understand what I'm talking about. Mad game. It's a London derby. I think all London derbies are pretty much crazy, especially the ones that involve West Ham, Chelsea, Arsenal, and Spurs. But this is a game where it's massive importance. Both sides are on 48 points. I think West Ham have got a game in hand. So West Ham will be looking at that thinking, if we win this game, we go 3 points ahead of Spurs, and then they have to win their game in hand to equal the points again. Whereas Spurs will be looking at this thinking, if we win this game, we go above West Ham with a game in hand. So then we can kind of put it to bed. So for me, this is a bigger West Ham Tottenham game than I think I've seen in a long time, based on what stands in front of everyone, depending on the result. Because I think whoever wins that kind of says to the other team, unlucky with your top four, proceedings. I think if West Ham have plugged along, and I'll give them full respect for chugging along and just getting the results and biding their time while other people play their games in hand. But then the games in hand are slowly shrinking while West Ham are still in the mix. Everybody was looking at the points and the games in hand and thinking, a lot of people think that points in games in hand are secured points, and it's hard to not stretch away from that because, as a Spurs fan, I was looking at Arsenal at one point thinking we got 3 games in hand. We lost at home to Wolves and Southampton, and it was like, well, what was the point of thinking that? So, it is better to have the points on the board, and that's what West Ham have got. But they do need to start beating the rivals and hoping for favours in order to get that. So they'll be looking at this game as a massive one. And for me, we all joke about West Ham saying that their cup final is Tottenham, but it pretty much feels like a cup final. But then West Ham are doing greater things now, because they'll be looking at this game and saying, is this the most important game or the next one in the Europa League? Because they did a great job last night of knocking out Seville, who've won the competition the most. So, hats off to West Ham. Well done for qualifying. When it comes to Spurs, as always, we're always inconsistent. Brighton, there was a few good moments, but for me, I don't care how well we play. We just need to get the job done. I don't care if we play Arsenal in the North London derby and get spanked by them. What was the result? 2-1 Tottenham. That's all I care about, because I think it's imperative that we get Champions League football. And if the boards are to back Conte, which I don't think they will, but if they were to and surprise everybody, then we're in business. If I go back to the game, both on contrasting form, West Ham have lost their last 3 away games. Granted, one of them was Seville, but they haven't been great away recently. And Tottenham's home form, we put Everton away quite quickly, but I wasn't overly convinced that was a turning point. It's just Everton are that bad at the minute that I knew we were going to beat them in some respects, but I didn't know it was going to be like that. They were just asking for it by just pressing Tottenham and thinking that was going to work. We all know that pressing Tottenham isn't the best thing to do, especially if Harry Kane back on form. But it's going to be a tough one. I think it's going to be a really tough game. It's going to be one of those where Tottenham, West Ham, I love the game, but I hate it. But I'm not feeling overly confident, but I think we're just going to nick the win. I think Harry Kane's goal scoring record in London derbies is imperative. I think that West Ham love to come to Tottenham and spoil the party, but that's normally when Tottenham are trying to qualify for a top 4 position and West Ham are nowhere to be seen, and they just want to spoil the party. Now it becomes a party which they're involved in.